Okay, so what's your name, age, and where are you from?
All right, Chase Squires from here in Dallas. Actually, 19. Go to SMU as a computer science student.
Oh,
So,
that's cool.
yeah.
So, what does being a brony mean to you?
Let's see. Being a brony is really just being a member of the group of, like, I take it very literally. It's being a member of the group of people outside of Hasbro's, the creator of My Little Ponies, outside their targeted demographic, which is, young girls ages, 4 to 7-ish, maybe 9.
Yeah.
Anyone outside that group is really what I consider a brony, male, female, any age outside of that really just kind of fits that demographic there.
Okay, so why did you initially start coming to these meetings?
Let's see, it'd be summer after senior year in high school. I found out about them. I've watched the show for about a year before that, so I didn't actually know about many of these meetups because I live down in North Dallas. This is Louisville area, so it's kind of hard to get out here. That's probably summer after high school.
And how would you describe the brony community?
Some of the most thought out people well thought out people I've met. Kind of the most, I guess, the people who, I can relate to them as. Let me think how to say this.
Yeah, you can take your
Give
time.
me a minute. The community as a whole really is a kind of a great, kind of, a come together joint community. Everyone's kind of they're here celebrating the same show, and how that it exists and whatnot. But the community itself is really tightly knit. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
People who kind of go outside of rules of thumb of
Like social
how to do
norms.
not necessarily out of social norms, but outside of what would be considered right or what's considered anything that just kind of steps out of line is quickly put back into place kind of by the community, or at least kind of nudged back in and said, hey, it's not the right direction to go. Obviously, there's a few exclusions in that. There's the random, outlier, but most people in the community are really friendly people, really, easy to meet, easy to talk to people. So.
Well, that's cool. So, how does your experience of being a brony carry out into everyday life?
To be honest, aside from watching the show at 10:30 on Sundays, not much.
Not much.
I see these guys, outside, on every Sunday, I'm hanging out with these guys, but that's just about it. That's all I really get to see them, because I'm down in SMU, University Park. I've got my own, other social life. I've got other things I do. Granted, yes, I go to conventions. There's that one coming up this weekend,
Yeah.
Nightmare Nights. But aside from that, it's really not had that much of a big impact on my life or how I live or anything.
Okay, so how would you say bronies? What other things they connect on?
Okay, one of the big things is creativity is the basis of a lot of brony work. I guess a lot of things that people create in the fandom, it will revolve around art in so many forms. There's people who draw. There's people who paint, there's people who do digital art, there's people who make, you sew and stuff and make plushes and stuff like that. All sorts of things out there. And it goes beyond that. I used to do laser cutting a lot for a bunch of friends of mine. I basically bring them up to this meetup and just raffle them off and say, hey, take them for free. Just because it's just burning stuff into wood, designs and patterns that come from the show, and just kind of throw them out and say, hey, you'll have some souvenirs.
That's really cool. So, has there been a time that is it difficult to share with other friends or people in your community that you do like this show?
I really kind of keep it on if they ask me, I'll tell them, but it's not like a huge deal in my life where I say, hey, I need to tell you something, I'm a brony kind of thing. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like coming out to your parents as being gay, but or something like that. It's not on a difficult scale as it was for me as that kind of thing, for example. But I will say that. Again, I keep on the need to know, what to know. If they want to know, sure, I'll tell them. If they're gonna use that badly, I'm just gonna say, I don't need you around in my life, kind of thing.
That's good.
So.
And then, how would you say your life has changed since joining the brony community? What things have they given you that you really appreciate?
Definitely, since it's somewhere to fall back to on a kind of a rainy day. Everyone has those days that you get lonely, you really have nothing to do with that day, and it's like, hey, tell a friend, why don't we go watch a show, watch a pre-recording from one of the past 5 seasons that we've had. There's plenty of things you can relate on with the community, and a lot of people you can rely on in the community as well.
That's really cool. And then just a couple more. So what do you like about the shows? Like, what got you hooked on watching the show? And did somebody like introduce you to the show, or?
Well, I've been always been a fan of cartoons that were targeted at the younger demographic. Just because they were interesting looking at them as a kid, and I think that's cool. But when I actually look back at them, actually a lot of cartoons that I've seen have a lot of kind of underlying value, and it's kind of hard to grasp that at the young age. But looking back on MLP, it's just been like there's so many things you learn out of that show that are like literally life lessons embedded into the show. All fingers are pointing at that lesson, and as a 7-year-old, you wouldn't actually notice it because it's just a show you're watching for fun. But I've kind of gotten hooked on the fact they do that, and the plot and the story that all goes behind making a season is immensely planned and well thought out.
So what would you say is like your favorite like story or value that you've learned from it?
Probably I think the key values that come out of that come from the 6 main characters. There's was it honesty, laughter, sharing the smile, basically loyalty, kindness, and what was the last one? Honesty. So yeah, and then of course the last one has to do with the show itself, magic. But no, they're basically based on the elements of what they are.
Yeah.
And they take this integral part of society and how people associate with each other, and they say this is what you need to do to be a good friend. These are the things that make good friends that you really want to aspire to be. And I try to I guess that first episode of the first season kind of brought that all together to listen, because the main character didn't have really any friends outside of the books in the library basically, and Twilight, she goes and makes friends, and it's like, oh my god, my life has exploded on so many horizons. So I guess it's just kind of what it takes to be a good friend is kind of the best thing, because when you are a good friend, being a friend back to you is not that hard to do.
Well, cool.